Oh, we've got a treat for you this week. Porsche Sports Cup Suisse. The absolutely beautiful Porsche 911 992 Cup cars racing around Portimão in the Porsche Sports Cup Suisse. And it was a brilliant race. We had battling for the lead, drama on circuit, and all with that sweet Flat 6 soundtrack. Sit back, relax, and enjoy this week's Race of the Week.
Because they all wanted to come back. Leading car peels into pit lane. It's Gaillard and Yip on the front row. So 30 minutes plus an additional lap. Red lights on the gantry. They cannot overtake until the green lights show up. Green lights. We're underway here for 2025. Yip gets the jump on Gaillard going down into turn number 1 at Primera. And sweeping to the outside, Ethan Isher going high, wide and handsome around the outside. Isher takes the lead. And it's 3-4 wide going into turn 2. And Segre nearly bumps into the side of Gaillard going into 3 at Lagos. Gets the inside line. Dylan Yip now P2. And changes have been afoot. Dylan Yip got the jump, but Ethan Isher, the 18-year-old from Switzerland, got the jump on everybody. Threw it round the outside, and it's side by side for third and fourth into Torre Vip. Segre getting through. Gaillard now trying to get back into fourth position. As the field makes their way through up turn 6 for the first time. Start is under investigation, as per race control messages. But 29 minutes plus an additional lap. Well, we had fireworks, and the biggest firework of all was one of those ones that you send up into the sky and it explodes all over the place. That was sent by the number 21 of Sportec Racing's Ethan Isher. They go down the hill for the first time into turn number 13. And Matteo Franco Segre goes purple. It's Dylan Yip. Oh, and a lock-up going into... Well, who's on the comeback trail, as I think that was Matteo Franco Segre locking up the brakes, and that is Karen Gaillard right behind in the 85, the Iron Dames supported driver, running also in Porsche Carrera Cup France this year. So we come round Galp, turn 15 to complete the opening lap. Ethan Isher from 4th on the grid now leads the way. Dylan Yip in hot pursuit, the man from Hong Kong. Matteo Franco Segre. And then it's Karen Gaillard who's flashing the headlights at the moment. Gregor Burkhardt now in 5th. Matteo Beretta, Sebastian Pidou, Thomas Winkler, Emmanuel Quintieri. Unfortunately, the Italian drops from 5th in the early stages down to 9th. Ilario Introna rounds out your top 10 at the moment. But Segre having to be very, very careful. Gaillard is absolutely chomping at the bit, waiting for her chance to bounce through on the inside, or maybe even throw it around the outside. You never know. But at the moment, she's not close enough. Yip closing in to Isher. But Isher sets the overall fastest first sector. Gaillard now really puts the hammer down. Coming out of Torre Vip here at turn number 5. Matteo Beretta closing in on Gregor Burkhardt. And Burkhardt holding on to 5th place at the moment. But Gaillard is not wanting to wait around. She wants to be back at the lead of this field as they go up the hill again through turn 8 at Samsung. Now in towards the sweeping downhill, uphill left-hander very shortly. And they come through that into turns 10 and 11 at Portimão. And it's only going to be a matter of time. Right on board with our race leader, Sportec's very own Ethan Isher, number 21. Once again, you can just see how much work is required behind the wheel because he's being hounded. He's absolutely being hounded by Dylan Yip. As they come down the hill once again, they've got to be very, very careful at the moment. Daniel von Bolmus has moved up 2 places in the meantime. Giuseppe Barabati up to 14th. But Ethan Isher leads Dylan Yip now by half a second. Karen Gaillard is closing in. Look at the rate of closing from Karen Gaillard. Is she going to put a move on Matteo Franco Segre? Is she going to stick her nose up the inside? She loses the back end. Contact with the right rear of Matteo Franco Segre, and the pair are out of the race. And it was just one moment that Karen Gaillard decided to throw it up the inside. She's having to wait for the entire field, but that could be if not a full course yellow, maybe even the safety car might need to be called here. Karen Gaillard, however, has gotten going. Segre's beached in the gravel off of Primera. In the meantime, back at the front end of the field, Dylan Yip leading the way. Ethan Isher still holding on, but the gap is next to nothing. It's not even a car's length between the pair. As the man from Hong Kong with Proton Huber competition ran with Sportec last time around, last year, but he's found his feet here at Proton Huber. And Isher's got to defend like an absolute stalwart right now. But a big moment there, real shame for Matteo Franco Segre and Karen Gaillard. Unfortunately, sometimes being a little bit over-eager to get the move done can cost you, and it cost the pair of them. So 25 minutes out of the 30 still to go, and Isher is trying to put on a defence. Yip is trying to do everything in his power, while Segre's not going anywhere. That car is beached. That is going to need to be pulled out, and we got that is going to be more than likely safety car deployed. Safety car deployed. Just over 5 minutes completed, and that is for Matteo Franco Segre through to turn 1. So the closing rate of speed, you now see that Gaillard's sizing up the move. She dives to the inside, loses the back end, it spits it out to the right. Her front contacts the right rear of Segre, which means possibly broken suspension, possible upright, and also a very, very flat right rear Michelin tyre. Still circulating now. The safety car peels away. Ethan Isher gathers everybody up. He's holding the field up, and when he lets that right foot go to the floor, Dylan Yip, you can bet your bottom dollar, is going to be right on his rear wing. Out of the final corner. Revs build up, speed increases. We're back very shortly to green flag racing. And there we go. We're green. We're back underway. And Dylan Yip straight away on the offensive behind Ethan Isher. Gregor Burkhardt, Matteo Beretta and Sebastian Pidou ran out your top 5 at the moment. Peter Heglin got past Introna on the start as they head into turn 3 at Lagos. And it's like Ethan Isher has just got them all in a row at the minute. But Dylan Yip has got to give chase. And down to Torre Vip. Dylan Yip's got the high beams on at the moment, trying to put the pressure on Ethan Isher. But look at Gregor Burkhardt. Isher's teammate. Isher's got a wingman right now as they go through in towards turn 7 and turn 8. And good work by Matteo Beretta to stay with them at the moment. Sebastian Pidou a little bit further back. He's dropping. He's got Thomas Winkler not too far behind. Romano Quintieri, 7th. Peter Heglin. Ilario Introna and Jeremy Siffert round out your top 10 still. But Dylan Yip, look, coming down into turn 12. Right over the rear wing of the rear bumper. And still, Isher is leading. Isher is soaking up the pressure like the proverbial sponge. But Dylan Yip might try coming out of the final corner, maybe into turn 1. Because now he can start teeing up the move. So now we're going to come down through Galp. A little bit of undulation, a little bit of bumpiness. The rear axle's looking a little bit unsteady as the dampers go up and down. And now the battle for the lead carries on. Yip in the slipstream. Isher pulls to the right-hand side to cover it off. That's great work there by the number 21. Yip goes to the outside. Isher stays on the inside. Retains the race lead. Nearly goes wide coming out of turn 1. Yip looking to go through it too. Isher stays on the racing line. Big lock up. Right front. Gregor Burkhardt into turn 3, but manages to get it stopped in time and not end up harpooning into the back of Dylan Yip. But now it's a 3-way scrabble for the race lead. Yip's got to go for it. He's going to look to the inside here at Torre Vip. And on turn number 5, on lap 9, oh, Yip goes deep into the corner. Isher responds. He's going to have the inside line. They're swapping paint on the panels. And it's going to be Yip that's going to have the inside line for turn 7. But he's going to go a little bit deeper. Oh, Burkhardt's just lost out to Beretta. And Beretta's just jumped in through at turn 8 at Samsung. And that's P3. The top 4, with 10 minutes to go, are at absolute loggerheads. Incredible racing we're seeing. A lengthy safety car period has got these drivers all revved up and fired up. And now Yip starting to build a slender advantage. But he's got to be very, very careful because he's now become the hunted. Isher, Beretta, Burkhardt, they'll all try and chase the man from Hong Kong down. The man with Proton Huber competition. Now, I did just notice maybe the electric cabling could be loose on the left front headlight of that number 99. Because he came down Galp and hit a little bit of a bump. I think it was through the curbing as well. That left front headlight might need to be checked by the team. Now, I'm not too sure. I saw a little bit of a gap, the bonnet slightly coming up, ever so slightly. So whether there might be a panel imbalance on the front end of that Porsche, if there's been a little bit of rubbing, so to speak. But Isher and Yip were literally side by side going through into turn 6 on the previous tour, and they were properly intertwined. Like literally, you could not get paint panels any closer if you tried. You'd be probably going inside the cockpit at that point. But Dylan Yip starting to expand that lead. Last time around, half a second. Okay, so decision has been made by race control. Karen Gaillard will have a 3-place penalty in the next race for causing a collision. The incident between her and Matteo Franco Segre, which will demote her effectively to 4th place. A little bit further back, the battle being led by Sebastian Pidou, who's ahead of Omnia Racing's Hermano Quintieri. Peter Heglin getting a little bit closer as things stand, and then Thomas Winkler and Ilario Introna also having their own battle. That's over 9th place. Karen Gaillard has been on the recovery drive at the moment. She's now up to 13th, having got past Ernst Albert Inderbitzen. So, after 10 laps completed, Dylan Yip's lead now expands to 1.142 seconds. As behind the number 15 of Hermano Quintieri, there's the number 5, the Swiss driver Peter Heglin, closing in. And that's going into now turn 3. Oh, lock up in front by Sebastian Pidou. Nearly gave Quintieri the opportunity to get through, but Quintieri, I think, was a little bit too far back to take advantage of that. He was more focused on defending position ahead of Peter Heglin. It's about for P6 and P7. Now we ride on board with the number 5 behind the number 15. Omnia Racing being supported by their technical partner, Prima Ghinzani Motorsport. So really good to see the association between those two entities. And obviously, Omnia Racing also competing in Porsche Carrera Cup Italia this year. And at the moment, well, Dylan Yip's lead is going to further expand. I would say probably by at least 6/10 to maybe 9/10 of a second on this lap. So it could have probably the best part of a 2-second advantage. But we've still got 5 3/4 minutes left to go. There's Sebastian Pidou in the deep pink, blue and black Porsche 992 GT3 Cup car coming out of Galp at turn 15. So lead now just under 1.6 seconds behind between Dylan Yip and Ethan Isher. And Isher, well, that's got to be on the highlight reel, I'm sure, going round the outside of Dylan Yip and Karen Gaillard. And Gaillard now ahead of Christoph Lange, who's down to 13th. Daniel Schmidt also now has moved a few places up the order, now up into 11th. Garamuskia now ahead of Ron Bolmus for 16th. So we've still got just over 4.5 minutes of this race left to go. There's still quite a few close battles in this race as things stand, so from that perspective, you can see why some of these drivers really love One Make Series, because it means that everyone's got the same equipment underneath them. They've all got to work their way around the setup and the nuances that can either complement or hinder their driving style when you think about it. But there's been some really, really good. We've got another replay coming up. So this is on board with Peter Heglin. And that is going to be the move on Quintieri for position. Gets the inside line nice and neatly. That's number 5 from Switzerland. So that's a move up to 6th place. Yeah. Oh, and Dylan Yip's left front headlight again is it's flickering a little bit. It either goes on, goes off. There it goes again, coming out of turn 4. Dylan Yip at the moment still leads. His lead now is 1.5 seconds because Ethan Isher last time around was 9/100ths of a second quicker than him. But Dylan Yip doing exactly what he needs to do. Just, oh, and we've had a further incident, and this is, I think, Pidou and more than likely Quintieri. Or could that be, I don't think it's in Trona, but it looks like Sebastian Pidou, I possibly think, or it might be, could be Giuseppe Barbati and Christian Caramusia, I would imagine. But I couldn't see the numbers at that point. So there's going to be another yellow flag, and whether that's going to possibly. So it was Giuseppe Barbati and Christian Caramusia that came together on that. So that was the battle for 15th position. Caramusia looked to be partially on track, and so did Barbati, but Barbati was a little bit further off the road, so to speak. But Dylan Yip is going to take us. So crosses the finish line. So just waiting. Oh, look at the damage there. Flat right rear and the rear quarter panel, especially by the air intake, heftily compromised. So Dylan Yip, I think, has put us on to 1 plus 1 more lap. So we could be hitting a total of 15, maybe 16 laps at a push. Depending on when we get the confirmation that it is the final lap of the race itself. But as things have proceeded over the course of this, and well, we've got yellow. Oh no, have we got another safety car period because of that incident? Safety car's been deployed. So that is going to neutralise the race, and that effectively is going to give Dylan Yip the win on this particular occasion. So safety car deployed with just over a minute remaining on the timer. And there it flies. Dylan Yip picks up the opening win of GT3 Cup action here at Portimão, ahead of Ethan Isher. Matteo Beretta rounds out your top 3. Gregor Burkhardt, 1 step away from the rostrum, finishing 4th, ahead of Sebastian Pidou